Hi guys, happy Friday. Thanks for joining us here at vinousreverie Wine Merchant. Igor and Anu here today. Welcome to our show for the adventurous wine drinker. So today we're going to start and we're going to taste Comando G La Bruja Averia 2012. And I know, Igor, you're going to talk a little bit about Garnacha, but before you do that, I just want to say this wine goes out to all my witches because it's got a really cool, cute little witch on the front. So, sorry, I couldn't resist.
It has a green witch, then we have a blue witch.
Oh, it comes in different colors.
It comes in six different colors.
Okay.
We only have two to show, but there's a pink witch, a different shade of green witch, a black witch, and a yellow witch.
Okay.
So we got the whole spectrum going on. So.
Okay, cool. So, but this is actually a really good wine. So we'll talk. There's a little bit of a story behind the cover, but the wine is great. So tell me a little bit about this one. So this is Garnacha, correct?
Yes. So it's Garnacha. So that's the Spanish term for Grenache, and actually that's where the term came from. The vines, claim to have originated in Spain, and this is Garnacha Tinta, which is the most noble form of the grape. And obviously, it's more known by the word of Grenache from southern Rhone in southeast France. But Garnacha, it's actually in the late 20th century was the second most grown grape in the world. But they've been pulling vines for the last 20 years.
Out?
They've been pulling the vines out. Okay. So now it's the second most grown red grape in Spain after Tempranillo. So that's because the cuttings, I think, went out from like 170,000 to like 60,000. So
okay,
yeah, so
we're super geeking here. Okay.
Yeah. So we were, but yeah, and then just a little backstory. So Sardinians who call it Cananao, they actually claim that the grape came from the Italian island, and there's no. I don't think it's a fact, but the theory kind of makes sense because. The Garnacha grape originated with the Aragon kingdom, which started in
Lord of the Rings.
1297. Well, Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Sorry.
1297, and
Okay.
so Sardinia was part of that kingdom. So it's a possibility that under the Aragon rule, it went from Sardinia to Aragon.
Okay.
So that's kind of the little overview on Garnacha.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like saying it over and over.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so what else you got? I have tasting notes when you're ready.
Yeah. So it comes from Mentrida region, and this is right west of Madrid. So I actually have a map. It's a map.
Of course you do.
But here's Madrid right in the middle, a dot, and you have the Mentrida right to the west of it, and you have the Sangredos Mountains. That's the mountain range that overlooks the Mentrida region.
Okay.
So it's a mountainous wine, and it's high altitude. So it's grapes come from high altitude,
okay.
And they grow granitic soils. So this Garnacha is actually very fresh and aromatic.
Yes, you can taste that, yeah.
And a lot of wine professionals, they actually call it Pinot-esque. Because the Grenache from Southern Rhone, the Chateau de Pape, those are like full-bodied wines. Well, this is very like aromatic, refreshing wine. And it's part of the reason is because it's a mountainous wine that comes from granitic soils that kind of portray their terroir onto the wines.
Right.
So,
okay.
So it's continental climate. So it's hot days, cool nights. Also, perfect conditions for this type of grape. So this type of wine.
Okay.
So that's kind of overview of the grape in the region. Now we could jump into La Bruja Averia. I mean, you could talk about the notes. I have some cool geeky stuff about the winemakers behind this wine. But yeah, let's.
Okay, so let's pour it, and you can taste it. I've been working on it already because it was too good. So you said Pinot-esque, and that's spot on because I am a Pinot Noir lover. And this wine is definitely one of my favorites. So, because I think it has...
No kidding that it's aromatic.
Yeah, it's aromatic. I will go over tasting notes in a little bit, and I want to hear what you have to say. But if I had to describe it in one word, I'd say this wine is really lovely and elegant. It's, like Pinot, It's got some delicacies and
Wow.
intricacies, but I say, kind of like a alpine strawberry, cherry cola, mineral. I wrote down dark chocolate, black pepper, and it smells great.
Yeah.
If you smell it, it smells smoky. And it's got some cola and kind of like a floral oil essence to it. I love the smell of this wine. It's amazing. Just really delicious. This is a great wine. And it got 91 points from
Yes.
Steven
Tanzer.
Tanzen from Vinous. I think he's with Vinous Media now, right?
Vinous Media, yes.
But I'm really disappointed in that rating, and I was kind of looking at it a little bit further, and I realized that the review was done when this wine, I think, first came out.
Mhm.
So in 2012, that's when the rating was done. But we all know that wines mature in the bottle and they change, and I am 100% certain if they re-reviewed this wine, it would be much higher. And for 1999, to me, this is a 95.1 plus. And he even says, actually, in the International Wine Report, who reviewed this wine, they were like, "Oh, it should be in the cellar. It's probably best between 2017 and 2027." This tastes really good to me right now.
Yes.
So there is no way this is a 91 point wine. This is definitely, if they re-reviewed it, it's going to be much better in my opinion. So.
I think you're right on the point. I think a lot of the times, wine professionals, I think they're what they are. They're professionals who taste a lot of wine, but frequently they have to project. Because when they taste the wine, it's when it's embryonic. It hasn't hit its stride yet.
Right.
So ideally, it would have been tasted right now in its prime.
Right.
And I agree with you. I think it's higher than a 91.1, which is a good rating. By
It's
the
a
way.
good rating, but
Yes.
it's not good enough. It just doesn't
Yes.
describe this wine.
Yes.
And I noticed that with Jancis Robinson. She's one of our favorite wine critics. She's a British female wine critic. And I see with a lot of her reviews, sometimes she'll re-review a wine. So she'll do it,
Yes.
and then like a year later she'll do it again and she'll change the rating. So I think to me
Right.
that's, a true reflection of how, we should approach this because wines change in the bottle. So anyways.
She could give a higher score or a lower score.
Yeah,
So
either way.
It could go up and down. Well, since you brought up Jensen's, you were describing notes, and I think she who's been praising the greatest mountain Garnacha for quite some time. She's, I think, the biggest supporter of these style of wines, and especially Danny Landy and Fernanda Garcia, the two winemakers who are part of the Comando G. She described this wine. Let me just read her tasting notes. It has such seductive fruit, juicy but ethereal, sweet but in a Pinot Noir-like way rather than a sickly way, and also very fine, sandy texture that seems to communicate the granitic sand on which these ancient Garnacha bush vines are grown. It was so delightfully juicy and persistent.
Yeah.
I think she summarized exactly the notes we were describing, using the fruits to kind of describe
Right.
it. But
It's,
I think,
definitely juicy, seductive, and it does have a sand-like granitic mineral
Yeah.
flavor profile. So yeah.
I think she describes the spirit of the wine, which I think frequently you can't communicate unless you actually taste the wine.
Right. Yeah, you have the tasting notes, but it's not quite, in the right order.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, what is that poetry that you do on the fridge with the magnetiles? With
Yes, yeah.
You're never quite there, I think.
Well,
sometimes.
I think she gets the
Obviously,
poetry.
she's
Yeah,
a critic, so yeah.
Not always, but I think she hits it right on the spot. So these guys, I've before called it jokingly, these two guys are my boyhood heroes, even though I think we're the same age.
Boyhood heroes. Okay.
What I love about these guys, obviously it starts with the wine, but I love that the playful spirit that they have and the serious side that they have. So the playful spirit is that Comando G. It's based on an 80s Japanese cartoon that was very popular in Spain, Gatchaman or Battle of the Planets. They took that Comando G. It's kind of like these heroes who are trying to save the planet. So G could stand for Garnacha, Grados, or Granite.
Okay.
The three G's.
Okay.
And Averia, it was another popular show in Spain in the 80s about a witch. Thus, the label is so that's kind of their like postmodern, take on like their childhood.
Yes. Yeah. It's
So-
just cute. Yeah.
So, but the playful side is how seriously they take the wine. They look for ideal sites and ideal locations on ideal soils, and they have the masters to try to model themselves on. And they frequently mention, Chateau Reyes and Chateau Rouleau. So Chateau Reyes is the most famous Chateau de Pop in the world. It's wines that go, $400 plus. $400, that's in a bad vintage, and then it goes up in good vintage. So it's considered the best Chateau de Pop in the world. And one of the reasons it's considered the best Chateau de Pop in the world is Reyes. They make Burgundy-like, so they make a Pinot-esque Chateau de Pop in Rhone Valley. And Rouleau it's a Marceau winemaker, also very renowned, highly acclaimed, very expensive wines. So they're trying to mimic these guys, and I think they're doing a pretty great job. This wine that we have on sale this week for $20, I think measures up to wines that cost I don't know, 20 times that.
Yes, no, definitely. It's really good. I'm always tempted to just buy it out myself.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, what else you got, or can I do tasting notes?
The taste notes, the only other thing is Averia, that was their interpretation of it. So this is the 2012 wine. We have their new La Bruja Rosas. So it's, as you can see, the label is much different. It has a big old shiny boot on the front. So it's the same wine. They just it has a different label now. So it's kind of advanced. And so this is their just to one more note. This is just to copy Burgundy, because Burgundy has village level wines. They have Premier Crus and Grand Crus.
Right.
And it goes from kind of like more simpler wines to more complex wines. It's, the Grand Crus are some of the most complex wines in the world. So they have kind of the same Burgundian belief. They think that this is kind of their village wine, but they have like single vineyard wines, and then they have wines that come from the most premier side. It's kind of their Grand Crus. So they're like, hey, we have to replicate Burgundy because we think this land is just as special as Burgundy. So.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's time to talk about food, which is my specialty.
Yes.
So from a food pairing perspective, this is wine near from Toledo, right? Near Toledo, Madrid area.
Yes.
So I think suckling pig and suckling lamb, which is a specialty of that area, is going to be amazing with it. I know that might not be handy for all of you, but I do want to go down a small tangent because that's also my specialty. So I just want to say that we dined at Casa Botín. That was the last time I had suckling pig or lamb.
Yeah.
And Casa Botín, if you're not familiar with it, it's in the Guinness World Book of Records as the oldest restaurant in the world. It was, I think they have records of it back to 1725, and we had suckling pig there, and it was phenomenal. So. That is my food pairing suggestion, hopefully for when we can travel again. But if not, I think that just having, a piece of rustic toast with jamon would just go great with this wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not prosciutto, because a lot of people want to substitute. It's they look similar but completely different, styles of cured meat. Mm-hmm. I tend to favor jamon, mm-hmm. But I know prosciutto is kind of the more popular or the more known of the two meats.
Right, but we won't judge you too harshly if you substitute prosciutto for that. So, anyways, I think that's a great food pairing. And hopefully one day we can travel to Casa Botín again. But
yeah, and I think the other thing is I think it'll go great with the homemade bread. So I think if you have to show it off. And
all right, so I've been doing this carb thing, carb loading for a marathon that will not happen. So I'm going to pick up the laptop and show it off. So I made this bread, and what did I make? What is this? This is called Everything But the Bagel Spice that I kind of have it all over. So. Yeah. I wish I had some jamon because I would totally eat it right now on that bread.
But I think it would be good, after the show to have the bread and the rest of the wine. So.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have a slice, so it'll be fine. Cool. Well, that's it. You got anything else?
No, great wine. You frequently say some of the wines you taste how they're some of your favorites. Well, this is one of my favorites. This is a wine that I hand sell more often than any other wine in the store. And it's part of obviously our Halloween pack that we're doing this month in October. So it's part of the theme. So yeah, if you guys want to try it, it's on sale this week. Typically it's $30. This week it's $19.99.
Yeah, so, hand-picked, hand-selected. We think that this wine is really special. So.
Just great wine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, drink different, and we'll see you guys next week on our Friday show. So,
bye, guys.
Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.